was expecting you. Do you know? The killer, man. Okay, you know, I don't even want to be in this thing. So, wait. So you guys gonna be asking Meerkat, why are you wearing a mask? Meerkat, why does your mic sound pretty different? Well, Meerkat, why are you wearing covers? Well, I'm gonna be answering all this question. The message is for fun to get goes. I don't have COVID. Yeet. And the reason why we have covers is because we are gonna be watching a scary video. Also, Minecraft. I love Minecraft. It's one of my favorite things. Although, if you guys are watching this video at night, do not avoid watching this video. Wait until when morning time comes in. Then watch the video. If it's nighttime, don't watch it. Because I don't want you guys to have nightmares. So, let's make this screen a little bit smaller. Let's make my face cam smaller. Let's put it down here. And then we get out of here. And now, we're now going to be watching a YouTube video from, who is this from again? This is from IMR Scary Tales. Never heard of him. But let's watch these 3 scary videos. Stories I made.
When I was 10, my mom got a new job. Hence, we shifted to Wisconsin. My dad bought this house in the suburbs, and the neighbors seemed friendly until I met Mara. She happened to be our next door neighbor, and my mom made friends with this woman pretty fast.
What is that?
She would come maybe twice a week, and they'd sit around the coffee table on our balcony.
Yo, this woman is this supposed to be the mom, and that's supposed to be the lady. What the heck? That doesn't even look like that lady looks like it's about to kill everyone. What the heck? Oh, I muted it.
I'm not sure why. Come maybe twice a week, and they'd sit around the coffee table on our balcony and just talk. One day, I was on the balcony with them. I'm not sure why I was there, but knowing me, I was probably bored. So we're sitting there, they're gossiping about who knows what, when my mom got up to get some cake she had baked recently. I remained sitting at the table with Mara, and that's when my life changed forever. Mara was a spooky looking woman. She was about 5'6", skinny, with long black hair, pearly white teeth, and big yellow eyes. Her eye color was so unnatural that it was unsettling to retain eye contact.
Quick question for anyone, but is that like the normal eye color or no? Because I don't understand what it is.
With her for more than 3 seconds. We sat quietly when all of a sudden she turns towards me. A creepy grin appeared on her face. Her bright red lipstick with bright white teeth made her look even scarier. She started to tilt her head slowly from left to right, almost like a puppet. And then she spoke.
I'm sorry, a puppet? Left to what?
You ready to...
First things first. First things first. First of all, why are you just sitting there? And second of all, one man, get on out of there.
To right, almost like a puppet. And then she spoke.
You ready to go now?
Nope, I'm not ready to go. I'm ready to go home.
I kid you not. Hearing her voice change drastically with the disturbing body language combined, a cold shiver ran down my spine. What?
You ready?
While saying this, she pulled back a black rose out of her purse. That's it. She just took the weird-looking rose out and held it there. Her bony fingers, accompanied by long yellow nails, dangled in the air as she held the rose towards me. That was the first time I saw a black rose. I started sweating in fear when my mom came with the cake.
Here you go, Mara. Try this. I baked it yesterday.
Mara, almost as if someone pushed a button on a remote control, switched back to her normal self.
That cake looks actually delicious.
Your name?
What is that? Is it that's cheesecake? If it is, Let me get a slice.
Black rose into her purse without my mom noticing. I left the balcony.
How did her what? Why didn't her mom just like literally just be like, okay, we're gonna go? Because she literally saw the freaking rose in her hand. If I was the mom, I'd be like, nope. Come on, son, we gotta go. But I ain't the mom.
Creeped out, but I was 10, so I brushed it off quickly. I didn't know something way more vile was waiting for me at night. My room is on the ground floor, and my window is maybe 5 foot high. I was never an easily scared kid, but that night, I don't know why, but a weird feeling crowded my mind. I would turn in my bed constantly and look at the window every 5 minutes. It was getting late, and I started to doze off slowly. Before falling asleep, I decided to look into the window one last time. And there she was, standing in the freaking window. Mara, just...
What the fuck? That actually scared me. Whoa. Oh my god. She just standing there menacingly. You know what, maybe she just wants some cookies. Now I'm talking about whatever cookies that she gonna give you, I ain't doing that.
Standing, looking directly at me. The moonlight fell on her, illuminating the same grin I saw on her face in the morning. Her red lipstick was smudged and stained her white teeth. I was paralyzed with fear. I often imagined what I'd do in situations like these, but I always had an escape plan for it.
You get the fuck out of there. You grab your stuff. Don't forget your stuff and get the fuck out of there. All you do is just grab your phone and get the fuck out of there.
Any hypothetical I threw at myself. But now, when our psycho neighbor was staring at me through my window at 3 a.m., just smiling, I was motionless. My mouth got dry. I got goosebumps, and I could swear I could feel my room temperature drop to minus. After being like this for a minute...
I'm sorry. How do you feel your room temperature turn into minus? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing.
Straight, that felt like an eternity. I finally gathered the courage to get up. I started walking towards the door with trembling feet while sweating like a dog. As I kept moving, Mara's evil yellow eyes followed me in a slow but cringing motion. Slowly, slowly, slowly.
Now that's creepy. That's creepy. Imagine you're just like literally just like walking down the street at nighttime. Who walks down the street at nighttime? And you just walking home or walking to the store and you see someone just... That is creepy.
With the grin still there. Again, it was as if she were a puppet. I wanted to scream for my parents, but my voice somehow died that time. I raised my hand to grab the doorknob and froze. I froze because she moved. She lifted her skinny hand that held the same black rose.
I hope you're ready now.
Hearing that same spine-chilling voice coming out of an adult woman, I was on my way to pee my pants. Please, just leave me alone. As soon as I said that, her smile disappeared, and an angry frown took its place. She nodded her head from left to right, gesturing no. Then, she grabbed the window pane, but every move she made was so slow, so mechanical. She started charging the window with both of her hands, and I realized she was trying to get in. I was so horrified witnessing this scene that I forgot to react for a while. The window slid open, and she shoved her head in from the gap. I quickly realized the impending doom and grabbed my door to get away from my room. But based on my luck, the doorknob was stuck. I was freaking, panting in fear, trying my best to unlock the door, but it didn't.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. I'm sorry. Rest in peace.
Budge. While Mara was halfway.
He's not gonna make it to high school. Trust me. He's only 10 years old. He's not gonna make it to high school.
Through and screaming in that freaking child voice.
You're coming with me.
Nope.
You will be my final one.
Suddenly, the door slammed open, and I ran out of my room, screaming for my dad. My dad, being a light sleeper, jumped out of his bed and screams back at me, "What the hell's going on?" All I could muster to say was, "Mara, window." While Dad was putting his pants on, I ran back to my room just to check if Mara was still there or not. You know how in horror movies, the person you saw is gone by the time the witnesses come? Yeah, something similar happened, except I caught Mara leaving. There was a house some 100 yards away from mine, and it had one of those motion-activated lights. I saw the light turn on, and a glimpse of Mara disappearing behind that house. By the time Dad came in, she was nowhere to be seen. After much talking, he decided that it was just a nightmare and told me to call.
Oh my God, Pam's Day. It's not a nightmare.
Him only if someone physically comes into my room. You and your imagination, he said, walking away. Needless to say, I got exactly 0 hours of sleep that night. The next morning, I woke up and found cop cars all in front of Mara's house. People in our neighborhood gathered around her house. I walked outside and saw 2 paramedics taking out something in their stretchers that was wrapped inside black plastic bags. Not understanding a thing, and also not being able to spot Mara anywhere in the chaos, I stood there with a
I'm sorry, why? I understand that the doctor doing it, but why the wait? What they was in bags? Then wait a minute, are those like real humans? Like the Mara was like killing people and stuffing them in bags? That's kind of messed up.
Blank face. My mom and dad were talking to a cop, and when they saw me, they immediately came towards me. My mom was sobbing, and my dad looked very serious. He sat me down and said Mara has been arrested this morning.
What? Dang.
After receiving a complaint from a woman in an adjacent neighborhood, the cops came for a routine check and found everything that they never expected from this woman. It is said that she was involved in witchcraft. The cops have found 4 dead bodies of kids aged 6 to 9 years, buried.
What the? 6 or 9 kids? Look at the dead bodies.
In her backyard. With every corpse, she also buried a black rose. It seemed like she was running a satanic ritual for which she sacrificed those innocent lives. My mom hugged me in tears, and my dad apologized for not believing me last night. I could see the pain and trauma in my parents' eyes. They were thankful to God that I managed to survive. There is no doubt that I was her chosen 10-year-old who would have completed her ritual. That's why she said I was the final one, and that black rose symbolized death. Still to this day, I wake up at night, covered in sweat, with the fear that Mara is standing near my bed, tilting her head to the left, with the same evil grin and saying,
You're coming with me.
Oh my God. No. That is so creepy. And they are still living here. What if that person breaks out and then just kidnap their kid? Like, oh my God. Well, that was so scary. Let's get the rest out real quick.
Hey guys.
That was really so scary. Oh my God. If you like literally just like sleeping, like you're taking a nice peaceful sleep, and then you see a random woman just like standing right next to you, you better be running. You better take your phone and jump out of the freaking window and run. Unless if you have a 2-story house or you live in an apartment and you have the upper area, then that's a different thing. That's a different thing. If you're in like a normal house and you're like at the bottom, don't Don't be shy from heights. Open that window and jump out if you have to, or you could just open it, put it at the window. You could just run and get the hell out of that place, or just like run out of there, or just run to one of your friends' place. If your friends live with you, which I have no friends to live with me. All my friends are online. But that is so creepy. That was more creepier than never mind. Let's just start.
Guys, I hope you're enjoying the video. If so, please leave a like. And also, a small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you want to support this channel and make this channel reach the enjoy.
After it all happened when I lived in that apartment. After the death of my husband, John, who for many
This is a lady? I didn't know that.
years battled cancer, I fell into a deep depression.
Dang.
Everything in that house where we used to live together reminded me of him. The image of John remained crystal clear for every second that I was in that place. For some reason that we never found out, we were unable to have biological children. We didn't adopt either. Sometimes I regret it and think we should have, because maybe if we had, I would have had someone who loved him as much as I did. Someone who understood me, a person who would take me out of the loneliness in which I felt. But that person didn't exist, so in order to get away from the memories and deal with the loss, I decided to move to another city. While I managed to find a job, I had to use the money I had left wisely. So I moved to a small apartment on the outskirts of town. The building it was in had several other apartments, but most of them were
That apartment actually looked really nice, actually.
unoccupied. That's how I ended up living on the second floor, with no neighbors around me. As time went by, I felt more and more comfortable in that apartment. I had even formed a friendship with the neighbors downstairs. So even though I got a job in a coffee shop, with which I could afford a better place to live, I stayed in the building. But the charm of the apartment began to wear off the day the new neighbor arrived, Crystal. Like me, the young woman had come to occupy a second-floor apartment. In fact, she had moved right across from me. At first, I tried to gently introduce myself to her. The day after Crystal moved in, I made her a little welcome cake. But when I went to give it to her, I don't want it. Excuse me? I said I don't want it, Grace. Actually, I don't want anything. Just leave me alone. We don't have to be friends.
She was just welcoming you. Jesus Christ. She was just welcome. She was just trying to give you a nice cake.
Ever since that conversation, I couldn't help but think that there was something wrong with that girl. But I didn't want to judge her too badly, so I put the matter aside. I decided to leave her alone as much as I could, but that didn't stop me from bumping into her in the hallways or on the stairs. Although I watched her for a few seconds at a time, over the weeks I noticed that she looked worse and worse. She had messy hair, dirty clothes, dark circles in her eyes, and small cuts on her hands. Since the young woman had made it clear that she wanted me far away, I decided to inform the landlord of the situation, but he didn't take it very seriously. He said that he preferred not to interfere in the lives of those who lived in his building, as long as they didn't cause any problems. As if we had called them, the problems soon began. As night fell, for 3 days in a row, loud music from Crystal's apartment began to play. The first day, it just surprised me, but the second day, it woke me up from my nap, so I decided to go ask her nicely to turn it down. Although I knocked on the door several times, no one came out. By the third day, the vast majority of the neighbors had reported the situation to the landlord, who showed up that night to speak with Crystal.
Please, all the neighbors have made complaints.
Yeah, I got it. I'll turn the music down. But stay away, and don't you dare touch me. As I heard from the living room of my apartment, the voice of the young woman had sounded so altered that it seemed even aggressive. That girl really worried me, so I decided to ask the landlord what had happened.
That girl. I barely touched her when I tried to look inside the apartment because I thought I heard something, and she went crazy.
I was confused at his statement, but to my surprise, the answer came later that night when I heard two different female voices laughing in the hallway. Looking through the peephole, I noticed a young blonde woman with Crystal. They both entered her apartment, and that's when the music started playing. Even though it wasn't as loud as before, it was still able to disturb my sleep. Crystal? Crystal! After a few minutes of calling her, the door opened a little, hardly revealing one of the neighbor's eyes. What do you want? The music won't let me sleep. The girl opened the door a little more, letting out her hands and face. Look, old lady. Crystal looked up and down the hallway before continuing. Her eyes seemed restless and nervous. I already took it down, so fuck off and leave me alone. Not letting me say anything else, she closed the door quickly, but not fast enough to prevent me from seeing the cuts on the pale skin of her delicate hands. Even if her insult had incensed me, since I felt she had been rude to my request, I was more concerned about the young woman than anything else. But again, when talking to the landlord, he ignored my comments.
Grace, leave the girl alone. I think you're exaggerating.
Day after day, I listened and watched as a new woman walked into Crystal's apartment each time. I was not against the love affairs of the young neighbor, but I was worried because her attitude only indicated that what I had thought from the beginning was true. Something was wrong with her.
Wait, what do you mean something's wrong? Because she's playing some music. No, but actually, is she just like taking like different ladies to just like listen to the music? I don't know. And so far, this video has not been scary at all.
On Sunday night, the music woke me up again. Tired, I decided to try again to reason with the neighbor. I got up and walked to the door of her apartment.
Hey, you! Me? Yeah, you! Don't you want to play?
Once more. Crystal? Crystal! After knocking several times, the door gave way, but there was no one behind it. It didn't take me long to realize that it had happened on its own. Neighbor? The door is I didn't want to invade her privacy, so I just took a look. But what I saw, I could never have imagined it. On the couch in the living room was a black-haired woman with a large cut on her neck. In fact, her head looked like it was about to fall off. Her lost blue gaze looked in my direction, as if wanting to flee here. As expected, the couch and the rug on the floor were covered in blood. The loud music continued to play when a room door opened wide, revealing Crystal, who stared at me with uneasy eyes. Grace? Her voice sounded calm, which disturbed me because she was
fucking run! Run! What are you doing just standing there? Run!
Covered in blood. She glanced at the dead woman and then back at me. I saved her. That's what I do. I was terrified, but I couldn't move. I couldn't speak either. I was completely frozen. I have done this with all of them. All of them were young and beautiful women. I was not going to let any man contaminate them. Listening to her, I realized all those nights of loud music, she had been murdering girls, one after another. Even if you are very old, I can also save you, Grace. Let me save you. Nobody will ever hurt you. I'm going to save you. After pulling a knife out of her pants, my young neighbor pounced on me from one moment to another. We both fell on the floor of the hallway. Help! I was trying as hard as I could to keep Crystal from sticking her knife into my throat. Let go, Grace, she said the moment she cut my ear with her knife. Listening to her and feeling pain was like an engine that started my energy. because suddenly I was able to push her away from me with one of my legs. Screaming, I managed to get downstairs, where some neighbors had already come out to see what was happening. One of them called the police. In the following days, while I was still in the hospital, Crystal's case made the news. Apparently, she had been raped by a man from her close circle in her hometown. Her family and justice turned their back on her, so she escaped and came to the place where I lived. Experts declared that the trauma had been such that the young woman believed that she should save other women like her from that suffering. The heads of 8 victims, plus the complete corpse of one, were found in her apartment.
Whoa. So basically this girl just like is putting loud music. So I think I know what's going on. So the girls like they put in loud music, like very loud music, so the girl can literally kill the person and if the girl like tries to scream, no one else can hear it. All they hear is like the loud music. They can't hear anything. And how are you saving people? By killing them? What? So basically, this girl's like literally killing people without loud music. The loud music is like literally, it's probably like a freaking jukebox or something like that. So what she's doing is she's putting loud music on, and so first thing she does, she gets a random victim, lend them to her room, take out a knife, put loud music on, and then just kills them. That is kind of a weird way to kill someone, but it's also kind of like some murder mystery nonsense. But yeah, I mean that's kind of smart. That's kind of smart to like for you to murder people. But I wouldn't do it if I were you. But this girl did not understand. Like all these, because imagine you. So listen here, everyone. If you guys are at a hotel and you see someone very what's the word? Like one of these people in the house, and you hear loud, when you go to sleep, you hear loud music blasting through your headset or anywhere else. That means that person is secretly killing someone. Yeah. So this is the final story. Let's see if it goes.
I used to be very playful when I was a kid. My parents watched too many investigation TV shows, especially the ones on the crime and murder channels. My mother said I was too young to watch those things, but my father would end up convincing her, telling her that if I didn't watch it with them, I would end up watching it on my own. At first, they scared me a lot, but over time, I became passionate about the stories and decided I wanted to be a homicide investigator. I used to play at solving mysteries, seeing which of my toys were guilty of murders and kidnappings. At first, it was all I wanted to do during my free time, but over time, it started to lose its fun. It wasn't that I got bored with the investigations, but my backyard felt small to me. As time went on, I eventually sneaked into neighbors' houses, pretending I was investigating a murder. Some neighbors who knew me were cool with it and
why are you sneaking into people's houses? What?
Played along, while others got angry and got me in trouble with my parents. I remember one Saturday morning, my parents were watching a news story about missing teenagers in the area, and they asked me not to go too far away, just in case. I thought about going to my neighbor's house, but they were on vacation, so they locked their doors. I kept thinking about where I could go without going too far.
Stand in the middle of the road, you're gonna get run over. No, I'm just kidding with you. Maybe just stand on the sidewalk.
Until a brilliant idea crossed my mind. Since my next door neighbors were on vacation, I could pile up my stuff in their yard and go into the neighbor's house on the corner, which I had never been able to access before. Inside was a middle-aged man, a very nice retired chef. Sometimes he was bored and would prepare food for the neighbors, and his daughter delivered it. Unfortunately, she had disappeared last year. After that, the chef
She probably got kidnapped.
still had a big smile and was very cheerful, but everyone knew it was his way of coping with a loss as big as that. Without wasting time, I prepared my investigation kit, and after sneaking into the neighbor's house, I piled up some boxes and chairs and entered the cook's house. As soon as I jumped in, I took a quick look at the garden. It was very tidy. There wasn't a chair out of place, and the grass was level with the ground. When I turned my gaze to the house, I couldn't investigate it for too long, as shadowy eyes were staring at me from behind the door, plunged in the darkness that encompassed the entire interior of the house. Terrified, I took a few steps back and tried to jump back into my neighbor's house. But I couldn't reach it. The shadowy eyes advanced through the door, and to my surprise, it was only my neighbor. He looked at me with a smile and began to laugh kindly as he caught me in his garden. "I'm sorry. I think I startled you. I was just waking up and had all the lights off. You're the kid from the middle of the block, the one who gets into trouble, aren't you?" he said in a calm voice that put me at ease. His appearance was neat. He looked like one of those harmless people that couldn't hurt a fly. He was wearing a t-shirt and long pants. He looked like a gentleman, even in his own home. "Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't come here trying to rob you. I was just playing at being an investigator," I said with an apologetic tone. "Of course you do, kid. I know everything about you." This sentence could have been quite threatening, but he said it so sweetly that I felt calm. "Hey, do you want to have breakfast with me? I'll tell your parents that I invited you so you don't get into trouble. I talk to your mom at the market all the time." "Of course, sir. It will be a pleasure," I answered with a smile. Upon entering the house that previously seemed dark and gloomy to me was now illuminated and revealed to be a beautiful house with expensive furniture and not a speck of dust. "Wait here, kid. I'm going to make you some hot chocolate." I thought about actually sitting down. I wanted to make a good impression on the cook, but a noise from the basement caught my
The wind has returned. Quick, let's go.
My attention, and I told myself it was probably his pet. As a young boy, I was somewhat fearless, and I wasn't aware.
Did you even heard clearly about the noise part? No noise don't sound like a pet. That doesn't make any sense.
That after seeing a stranger, a dog could hurt me. So I opened the basement door and went in. I went down the stairs, looking for the source of the sound.
Why are you freaking investigating? Like, why are you investigating? When you hear noises, you don't investigate. This is why I don't understand. When people hear noises, they investigate. This is part of like one of my first story video. But, so yeah.
And when I discovered it, I was shocked. That wasn't a dog. It was a teenage girl gagged and chained. "I see you found Barbara. Congratulations, detective." The cook's voice sounded with the same kindness as before, as if I had really found his pet. What? I was so terrified that I couldn't utter a word. I just stood perplexed, looking at the chef. "Barbara is my guest of honor. You should be more polite to her. After all, you'll soon be roommates." No. I'm sorry for snooping around the house. Please, let me go. "How adorable you are. Do you think you came here by chance?" "No. Kid, ever since you snuck into my yard, your fate was sealed." "What will you do with me?" "You see, young man." As he spoke slowly and carefully, he locked the basement door and walked down the stairs and toward the girl, walking past me. "When one is a chef, you have a voracious hunger for discovery. Of course, at first, you settle for the usual recipes. But sooner or later, you get bored of eating the same old things. So you start looking for exotic animals and recipes." "I don't understand," I said, scared. "Oh, come on, kid. Of course you understand me. I always talk to your mother about you.
I don't even understand.
Don't you also get bored of always playing at home? Wasn't it that same curiosity that brought you here? But it's not the same. Of course it is. And you know what? Soon you'll get bored of your neighbor's house. Just like I got bored of exotic food. Having said that, the cook stood next to the girl, who was just crying in terror. You know what we do when we get bored of something? We keep exploring. We look for even more exotic foods. Having said that, the chef made a quick move and pulled out a butcher knife from behind him, which he used violently to cut off the teenager's fingers. The girl gave a huge scream, which was drowned out by the gag in her mouth. The chef ate her fingers desperately, as if there would be no tomorrow. His calm, happy face cracked for the first time. His eyes widened as he desperately tore the flesh from his fingers. Once bored with the fingers, the man grabbed the girl's hand and ran his tongue over the wound, as if eating an ice cream. Suddenly, his face returned to normal, and with a smile, he kept talking. I must admit that I'm exaggerating. I'm not a brute. I cook my food. I season it. Now I'm just exaggerating to scare you. I'm sorry, he said while making a grimace of forgiveness. My daughter reacted just like you. The girl was the spitting image of her mother, you know. Although, she tasted much better. Desperate, I climbed down the stairs and started to force the door, but it was no use. It was locked. Meanwhile, the man slowly climbed the stairs and kept talking to me, showing me the knife. It's so funny how I couldn't hide my happiness after eating her, and people never noticed. They thought I was a wreck.
You been eating her? How the heck is she still alive?
Suddenly, he was behind me. You know how much richer a veal is than a cow, kid. You are my little veal, he whispered in my ear. As soon as he said this, I still don't know if it was an impulse of bravery, survival, or if I simply slipped, but I lost the balance of my legs and threw myself off the stairs, grabbing the chef, who apparently was not standing properly, and he fell on me. When I fell, the chef had lost consciousness, but he was still alive. I could have stolen his key and escaped, but something got the better of me, and instead of looking for his keys, I grabbed his knife, which I used to stab him more than 20 times in the chest. That man was never going to wake up again. When I went back to my parents and told them everything, the police came and discovered that this was the kidnapper that they were looking for. The woman and I may have escaped, but neither had a happy ending. A few months later, I heard on the news that the girl committed suicide. I contemplated doing the same, but with years of therapy, I was able to control myself. Today, I am not interested in adventures or danger. I am one of those few people who would be happy living a quiet life with a boring office job.
Oh my god. That video that we just watched was basically him eating cannibalism. Based on him eating freaking humans. That is so weird. The fact that when he got a freaking butcher knife and chopped his chopped her fingers off and then started licking the thing. That's so weird. I thought that for a second that I thought that he was going to just like normally kill her, but nah, he was eating her. Anyways, I guess that's all to be seen. I hope that you guys have a normal day. But thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out.